All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Happy bear market Sunday, okay? Let's talk about crypto, all right? In this video, I want to talk about crypto and mainly, more specifically, Bitcoin, all right? But before I go any further, I must let you know, I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot recommend you to buy, sell, or take any financial actions or make any financial related decisions, okay? Before you do any investing, you should consult with your own financial advisor, and that's not Deuce Crypto, okay? The thoughts and opinions in this video are mine and my own, okay? And they're not to be taken as a recommendation to do anything, okay? This is just entertainment, all right? Without further ado, let's get right into it, all right? So I mentioned to you guys before, I think it was yesterday's video, that it's possible Bitcoin could bounce around the 80K zone, 83K zone. And that's what we're getting here, all right? We are getting a bounce, small bounce on Bitcoin, but I tend to not trust weekend price action when it comes to Bitcoin, or more specifically, just crypto in general, all right? But you can see here, we're getting a little bounce. Bitcoin is up 1.7% on the day, all right? The daily is now starting to reach extreme oversold territory. So Bitcoin was due for a bounce. But I wanted to show you guys something. Here I have the Bitstamp chart. It's one of the oldest Bitcoin charts that I could find. And I drew a trend line from 2018, from the 2018 bull run. I drew multiple actually, right? And you can see here on this one in particular, let me try to zoom in here. On this trend line here in the middle, you could see it acted as resistance in the 2021 bull run, okay? You see here, there was resistance, okay? We popped above it, and we tried to get, then we broke below it, then we tried to get back above it, and it acted as resistance, all right? Now you can see here, in 2024, it acted as resistance again. Isn't that interesting? We finally did break above it, but then we met another resistance point here, which you can see goes back to the 2021 bull run when Bitcoin hit around 65K, 64K, and just couldn't get above it, all right? But now look at that, we're finding support, potential support on this same trend line from the middle. Now, isn't that interesting, all right? Let me see if I can, see if I can't make this a different color. I'm gonna make this, I'll make it this green here, okay? I just find that really interesting that he's finding support on this green trend line. Now, okay, that dates back to 2018. Okay, that's interesting, right? Okay, so what we have here as far as this red line is a 50-day moving average, which Bitcoin is also bouncing from. Now, I do find that interesting, right? And then we have the 100-day moving average here at around 60K, 57, 58K, which is ultimately where I think Bitcoin will go. I think it's just a matter of time, okay? I think it's just a matter of time that Bitcoin tests this zone here, which acted as resistance during the 2021 bull run, okay? And then you've got the 200, I think this is the 200-week moving average, right? Or 200-day moving average. You can see here, that's this white line. Bitcoin tends to like to touch this during the bear markets. Now, that would put Bitcoin at around 40K. Guys, if you see Bitcoin get down to these price levels, I would be buying. I would be buying Bitcoin at 40K. That's just a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, honestly, right? Will it happen? I'm not sure. You know, I don't know what's gonna happen. Anybody who says that they know what's gonna happen in this market, they're just guessing, all right? We look at charts, we look at data, we look at all that information, and then we can kind of take it from there, all right? Based on probabilities. Again, what's going on in these charts? lagging indicators, okay? So you typically see something like a death cross on Bitcoin, and normally, historically, that has marked the bottom or somewhere near the bottom, right? And again, when it comes to Bitcoin, when he's bullish, he has had 30 to 40% pullbacks. So we're still in a normal pullback zone. If we go to the top of 124K, we only pull back around 36%, 37%. Now I say only, right? That's almost 50%, I know, but you know, if you want these 40, 50, 60% annual returns that Bitcoin gives, we got to deal with the volatility, okay? That's just part of it, all right? Now, altcoins, if you look at the total three, we barely made a new all-time high with altcoins. This is the entire crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? And I think the stable coins too. Yeah, but excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, we barely made a new all-time high. Look, 2021, we hit 1.13 trillion. And in 2025, we hit 1.17, okay? So the institutions that are in this space, they are not looking to truly ape into altcoins and hold them forever. These are quick flips, okay? The smart minds, the smart money, they get together and they figure out what's the next narrative and what direction this market is gonna move. That's what we're dealing with when it comes to the altcoins, okay? So no more holding altcoins for the entire cycle, okay? Let's get into altcoin strategy, okay? We're looking at these dinosaur coins, these XRPs, these Cardanos, right? We got Cardano, right? Anything that has been around for more than 2 cycles, it's pretty much a dinosaur coin, all right? I know you might bring up Zcash, okay? You might bring up Zcash and say, well, look at this one. Yeah, look. This did nothing for a long time, for a very, very long time. Bearish since April 2021. There are not a lot of people who caught this move from the exact bottom, except the people who might have been in on the narrative before it hit, right? So if you bought Zcash at the bottoms at around 20 bucks, salute to you. Like, honestly, salute to you, like totally, right? But a majority of people, they probably got in a little bit later, maybe around 80, maybe around 100, they got in, okay? Right, I could see people buying the breakout above $82 on Zcash, right? But as far as strategy and what I think we should do during this bear market, because that's where the real money is made, we need to get in on new coins that didn't have a run yet, okay? New coins that never had a bull run. Maybe they launched in the past few months, okay? Because we're in an altcoin bear market, we've been in one, right? Recently launched coins, right? And maybe old coins, if they are older coins that have been around for more than 1 or 2 cycles, older coins that are part of a new narrative, okay? Those are the only ways I would play this, all right? The only reasons I would buy something like a XRP, a Cardano, a Doge, something like that, HBAR, these older coins, is if I was dealing with large amounts of money, like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. I would put it into those cryptos because then I'm only looking for a 3 to 5x, maybe, okay? Next cycle, SUI is gonna be an older coin. It will have been around for 1 cycle and it will need to take out $5.50 roughly, okay? $5.36, okay? That's SUI's all-time high for this cycle, okay? So I don't see anything right now or any reason SUI would break his all-time high in the next 6 months. I just don't. And I would apply that to any other altcoin where this was their first cycle, okay? Look at NEAR. NEAR is absolutely cooked. It did not take out its previous all-time high from 2021. which was around $20. So much hype around this coin. Yes, it bottomed at around $1. And in February 2024, it peaked at around, let's say $9. So it went from $1 to $9. The law of diminishing returns, okay? So you got about an 800% move, got about an 8 or 9x out of near, but it's cooked. It's going all the way back to $1, okay? Now we know AI is gonna be this persistent narrative going forward for this foreseeable future. So could near protocol get hot again? It could, but then I'm probably looking at a 3 to 5x, right? Unless something awesome happens with near, next time the AI hype cycle hits to where it's able to take out its previous all-time high, I don't see it. I wouldn't bet on that, right? So if I got into near at around $1 or just under $1, 70 to 80 cents, which is probably where it's going, then I'm probably looking at I'm looking for a 3, maybe a 5x next cycle, okay? So you can still make money off of the older coins. It's just we have to be realistic. So this video is mainly focused on bear market investing strategies, okay? I remember when Say was the talk of the town, you know? That was the beginning of 2024. Beginning of 2024, Say was the next Solana competitor, the next Sui competitor, Say. And this is a solid blockchain. This is a layer 2. No, I think this is a layer 1 parallel execution type blockchain. High TPS, high throughput, parallel transactions, okay? But again, it has now had its first bull run. It went from, what, 10 cents up to $1.14, $1.15, okay? So it did a 10x, all right? Yeah, so again, next bull run, I wouldn't be looking for this thing to do more than what it did last bull run. So if this bottoms out at around 5 cents, okay? Maybe it gets up to 50 cents. Tokenomics, inflation, okay? We gotta keep those things in mind, all right? Because a lot of tokens are still releasing tokens. A lot of these projects, they're still releasing tokens, all right? You know, you look at stuff like Tectum. I remember there were a lot of people in the Patreon who were big on Tectum. I was big on Tectum during the whole Bitcoin BRC20 hype. It did a 15x. You can see here, peaked in 11 March 2024. All the people who bought here bought these, and again, I'm on the 2-week. Let me give you some more data here. The second chance to get in on this was $10 before it ran to 45. And then there were a lot of people who bought Tectum around 20, 25 bucks, right? Because we thought that was a good entry for Tectum. Tectum is now trading at 48 cents. This is the reality of investing in altcoins. And you have to cut your losses. Before you go into these altcoins, have a plan. Hey, if this thing dumps 40%, I'm out. I'm gonna cut my losses. I'm gonna keep it moving, all right? Unfortunately, this most recent bull run, because again, I think we're in a bear market when it comes to altcoins. Bitcoin can decouple and make another run for 130, 140, right? But altcoins, wow. The powers that be, they got a lot of us when it comes to altcoins, okay? Now, here's the deal. We can choose to hate the game, or we can understand the game. So that's what I would say. That would be my takeaway for you, because I can't make recommendations, is to not hate this game, but understand this game. For me, that's what helped me stay in crypto many years ago, okay? Because if you're in a crypto and the price tanks because of the team released their tokens, or a hacker hacked the protocol or something like that, and an exchange got hacked, whatever, right? That is very bad, okay? Those are things you can't really prevent, okay? It's out of your control. Once you buy that crypto, especially if it's a low cap coin, you are open to these types of things happening, all right? I could name so many cryptos over the past few years where there was a breach, there was a hack, someone got access to a team wallet, et cetera, okay? I don't want to mention any protocols here, but a lot of those projects, they don't come back. They just don't come back, okay? So when you're dealing with small caps, that is really part of the game. It's just money you can afford to lose. I know we say it over and over again, but unfortunately, not everybody does that. They invest money in cryptos, small cap cryptos, that they cannot afford to lose, okay? So it's easier said than done. I can say it 1,000 times, but it doesn't mean that people on the other side of this video are going to listen and actually execute in that way, right? So when it comes to small caps, I know that is where the life-changing money is. It totally is. And crypto is one of those places where you can change your life. And I do still believe you can change your life in this space and in this next upcoming bull run. So like I said, if you didn't walk away with as much money from last cycle as you thought you should have, don't hate the game. Understand the game. Understand it, okay? Because that's where the true advantage is. The true advantage is understanding the game. Don't hate it, okay? Don't buy anything without a plan, okay? That's part of the game. Don't buy anything without a plan. Don't buy anything without understanding that you could lose it all, or you could lose 50% if the crypto is still sitting on an exchange for some reason, right? Did you put a stop loss in? Yeah, well, I know. Exchanges do stop loss hunts, right? Where your stop loss might get hit. You got 10 grand sitting in a token, and you say, okay, well, if it dumps 50%, I'm out, right? That stop loss gets hit, excuse me, and your position closes. Now you lost 50%, but then the token shoots back up and recovers almost completely. That can happen, all right? This is crypto. This is crypto. It totally can happen, all right? Now, understanding the game is where the true advantage is, all right? And understanding that this is forever changing market is an even bigger advantage. Nothing stays static. Going into this most recent bull run of 2024, 2023, going into 2025, I played some cryptos like the previous bull run, okay? And the only crypto that really worked out with was Caspa, because I held it longer than a year. But those other coins, gaming coins, stuff like that, I sold them during the hype. Peak euphoria, okay? Peak euphoria. I could go down the line and show you guys. Let's see here. Let's pull up categories, all right? Let's pull up gaming, right? So you can see here, for some reason, renders in here, not sure why, but. Well, graphics, GPUs, got it. All right, so you can see here, at the top of the market for gaming peaked in January, February, March 2024. That's when render topped, okay? But last bull run, last bear market, during 2022, you could've got render for 40 cents. I bought render during the bear market for 40 cents, okay? And then it did a 20X, okay? So there are some cryptos that do good in the first cycle, and the next cycle, they do exceptionally well, okay? But that's not every asset. So we gotta keep that in mind. Again, I said, understanding this market. There is so much nuance in this market, all right? Render kind of also dabbles into the AI sector as well, okay? Render, AI, gaming, depend. What are the tags for render, okay? Let's see what the tags are. Okay, so categories: generative AI, DeFi, Metaverse, Made in America, Scaling, Alameda, Multicoin, Binance, Industries. Now we have industries, AI and big data, gaming, DePIN, decentralized compute, art, media, VR, AR, video, Web3. All right, so you can see here, these are the things I'm talking about when it comes to understanding this space and understanding the game. I think that's the title of this video, Understanding the Game. All right, now, if you take a look at the tags here on CoinMarketCap, or just CoinMarketCap in general, you will notice the change in how cryptos are now categorized, or should I say the evolution, all right? Like I said, I've been in crypto since around 2018, early 2018, late 2017, right? I remember when CoinMarketCap didn't have all of these tags, okay? And some of you watching this video probably remember that too. But why is this important? This is important because when we're researching these cryptos and we're looking at categories and industries, this is what the smart money's doing too. They're gonna look at these industries or categories, which are synonymous with the N word, narratives, okay? Narratives. So when smart money comes in for the next bull run, they're gonna be looking at narratives, these categories, these industries, okay? And they're gonna look at how they can marry that or connect that with what's going on in the real world. And that's going to add the fuel to the fire to cause these crypto narratives to just explode. Because when you got a crypto narrative that is running in parallel with a real world narrative, a narrative that's going on outside of this crypto bubble that we live in, you watching this video, me making this video, all right? Outside of this crypto sphere, when you have the same narrative being talked about on the news, social media, in the real world, fuel for the fire for that narrative, okay? So that's why I think going forward, that's where the money is, and that's how we have to play this market, okay? Because even with real world narratives, they don't run forever. They cool off, okay? They might persist a little bit, but they cool off. They run hot, they get cold, all right? So, understanding the crypto market, the title of this video, that's what it's about. Understanding the crypto market, understanding that it's forever changing, gotta be dynamic. It is dynamic, so we have to be dynamic. We have to be adaptive. We have to understand that there is nuance. And we can't control any of that, but what we can control is our plan, our individual plan. Each and every one of you watching this video are venture capitalists at your own level, okay? So why do I say that? I say that because we're looking for those gems, those diamonds in the rough that are gonna change our lives next bull run, okay? Set us up so that we can pay off that mortgage for that house. We can buy that house. Buy whatever it is, you do whatever it is you're trying to do in the real world with that money. Maybe you're trying to retire. Maybe you just want to be financially free. You want to live abroad, okay? You want to live abroad. You want to live in another country, okay? You got family you're trying to take care of. You're trying to take care of bills, all right? That should be in the forefront just as much as the hustle and the grind in this crypto space. Stocks too. So I'm still bullish on stocks, all right? I still think investing in the companies that are building tomorrow, the technologies of tomorrow rather, is one of the most no-brainer things to do, okay? I still believe that, honestly, right? If you take a look at, let's see. Let's take a look at the Yahoo Finance. Let's take a look there, all right? So, a lot of people crap on stocks and I don't know why, right? If I show you guys Palantir and how Palantir outperformed most of the cryptos in your portfolio, right? Over the past 2 years, you'd be like, what? Yeah, 2023, Palantir was trading at $7.45. It just recently hit $200. Now it's trading at 154 bucks. Okay, so if you can't wait 2 years for a potential 20x or 25x, almost a 30x, yeah. Patience is virtue, all right? Good things take time. Not every stock is gonna do that. I just show you guys that because a lot of people crap on the stock market and say, yeah, well, you can't make those kind of gains. That's why I wanna be, look, let me show you guys Rigetti Computing. Quantum, these are real world quantum companies, all right? I know we're kind of deviating in this video. It seems like we're deviating, but this is all part of understanding the game because it applies to stocks too. Again, the quantum narrative. Look, Rigetti Computing was trading at 90 cents at the beginning of 2024. Rigetti just hit almost 50 bucks. It's having a massive crash right now because the whole quantum narrative in the stock market is pulling back like other stocks today, okay? This thing could pull back to 8 bucks. If you ask me, it could pull back there, all right? But look, that was almost a 50x in about a year and a half, okay? So you can make money in the stock market, and these are real companies. Okay, I'm not gonna get into the finances and how much revenue they're pulling in because that's a whole different discussion, all right? I just show you these two examples to show you guys that if you think crypto is the only way to make fast money, because 50x in your money in a year and a half, that's unheard of. That is just, you think it only happens in crypto with low cap coins, with meme coins. It happens in the stock market too, okay? Now, when you come into that kind of money, let's say you bought this at 90 cents a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that, right? You put $1,000 in there, you got 1,000 shares. It ran up to 40, 45 bucks. I'd be selling, okay? It's probably not sustainable. I'd definitely be taking profits, okay? I would definitely be taking profits. So when we come into large amounts of money rather quickly, it's never a bad idea to take profits. Yeah, you gotta pay taxes on it. Yeah, you need to be responsible and, so that just is what it is. If you come into a lot of money, when it comes to selling your cryptos, you're gonna have capital gains there too. Capital gains in crypto, capital gains in stocks, right? So it is possible to make money in the stock market too, fast money, just as much as it is in crypto. And if anything, when it comes to the messiness and the options you have when it comes to making money from trading stocks and investing in stocks, you got way more options in stocks, all right? That's why on my channel, I cover both, stocks and crypto. Now, during this bear market, I'm gonna be covering more cryptos, okay? But also stocks too. So that's just how I roll, all right? Because I see opportunities to make money and I wanna be there, whether it be stocks, whether it be crypto. I got real world things I wanna do. I got real things I wanna do with my life. And I don't wanna limit myself to just crypto. Now, in crypto bear markets, I wanna be extremely aggressive, okay? And if I think a narrative in the stock market is bearish, I wanna be extremely aggressive, okay? Be greedy when others are fearful, all right? That's where the money's made. The money's made in buying the fear. The money's made in buying quantum stocks when you know that quantum is the future after AI. Down here, nobody's talking about it, 2023, 2024. Oh yeah, quantum's 10, 20 years away. Okay, well, I can own part of this company. Right now, I've done my research. I know about the partnerships, et cetera, and I apply that to any narrative, okay? Now, you don't want to just be buying into just any narrative in any company, okay? That's a whole different video, all right? But yeah, guys, understanding the game and being dynamic when it comes to investing and keeping your options open, I think it's an amazing idea, okay? And it's more exciting. If I'm just in the crypto space, just looking at cryptos, it's not as exciting as being in the crypto space and being in the TradFi space, stocks, okay? I find it very, very exciting to be part of both of those worlds, okay? All right? All right, guys, so that is my video. Like I said, I'm gonna title this video, understanding the game. Don't hate the game. Don't be mad at the game. Just understand the game and understand that it is a dynamic game when it comes to crypto, okay? So if we try to stay one way with crypto, it may not help, all right? Being flexible, being dynamic, understanding that this is an evolving space and big money is here now, and they're not so concerned about pumping your bags for the entirety of a bull run. They'll pump your bags for a couple weeks or months until that narrative is cold again, until they make their money, and then they're out. All right? All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys enjoyed that video, smash up the likes, and I will talk to you guys later. All right? Deuce Crypto out.